In a major relief for the Kochhars, the Bombay High Court granted bail to Chanda and Deepak Kochhar in the ICICI-Videocon Loan Fraud Case. The court observed that the arrests were not in accordance with the law while giving the couple interim relief. The court said the reason for the arrest appears casual and added that it was made without application of mind. My colleague Ankur Mishra is here to give us the specifics of the bail order.
Yes, the Bombay High Court has made some strong observations against Central Bureau of Investigation in the arrest of Chanda Kochhar as well as Deepak Kochhar. The written order says that reason for arrest appears to be casual, mechanical as well as without any application of mind. The order says that ground for arrest mentioned are clear breach of Section 41, Section 41A as well as Section 60A in the CRPC. The order also says that lady officer was not present during the time of arrest of Chanda Kochhar. The allegations were made by the lawyers in the court that when the arrest happened by CBI, there was no lady officer present. Apart from that, Bombay High Court has not only made observations against CBI, but it has also taken the case of lower court. It says that the remand order which was passed by the lower court does not record satisfaction. It further adds that onus of recording satisfaction does not lie only on the officer but also even on the judge who has passed such kind of order. The Bombay High Court has actually granted the bail only for 2 weeks. Now the question appears that whether or not after 2 weeks there will be a fresh application, or this time is only given for the two petitioners for fulfilling the criteria of bail, that is depositing rupees 1 lakh. We need to wait and see what happens during the next hearing, which is on February 6 in Bombay High Court.
Today was in fact, the matter was argued on Friday. Today in fact was kept only for pronouncement of the order. However, it seems that the High Court has accepted our contention on 41A CRPC and said that the arrest was not in compliance and therefore the benefit of this should go to the petitioners and they should be released immediately.
Okay. Now, after this, what will happen to the case? Will the hearing continue? What are the things to watch out now?
So we had sought two release. One was we had sought release on interim bail on the basis that the arrest is illegal. We have also challenged the FIR itself and sought quashing of the FIR. So the petition will continue and will be finally heard for quashing of the FIR, which may take some time. But today the court has at least granted the prayer for interim bail.
So also in terms of applicability, how does this work? Will the release happen today itself or it happens a day after?
Really depends on when we get a signed copy of the order once the Honorable High Court signs the order. But if we get the order by afternoon, there will be an endeavor that they are home by evening.
My last question is that basis on what the relief which you have got today, do you think that you have got some favor in terms of the case is concerned, the way that things have been transpired and the arrest was made just 2 weeks back?
So that we have, obviously the contentions that we had raised, that FIR has been registered 4 years ago, they have been cooperating, attending, they have been exonerated by the adjudicating authority in the PMLA case. All of those have probably found favor with the High Court, and that is why the court has granted an interim bail. It's virtually within 3 weeks of arrest that they have got released, which is huge, considering how financial crime matters or economic offence matters otherwise dealt with by the courts.
All right, to speak more on this, I'm joined now by Tamal Bandyopadhyay, author and senior journalist. Hemendra Hazare, independent business analyst, joins me on the show. And I'm also speaking today with Sanjay Asher, senior partner, Crawford and Bailey & Co. Welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for joining us once again as we follow up on this important story. Mr. Asher, since the twist in the tale today and the latest development is legal, let me begin with your perspective. An important observation by the Bombay High Court on the general conditions for bail and for arrest. What struck me is the court saying that non-confession doesn't mean non-cooperation. As in, an investigative agency cannot expect those that they're interrogating to implicate themselves. And if they don't, they deserve to be behind bars. How significant is that in the case of the Kochhars?
It's a very important observation because ultimately this is an order. There would be a judgment which will follow. Two, it's an important observation, and the Honorable Court has reiterated the principles of the criminal law. And as far as the Kochhars are concerned, it's an important observation from them as for them as well.
Tamal, let me come to you on this story, which, of course, you've looked at all of the twists and turns very, very carefully. This reprieve important for the Kochhars personally because their son is getting married, and it's only for 2 weeks. There's nothing in this about whether they're guilty or not guilty. This is only about whether they should have been arrested or not, isn't it?
Yeah, Tamanna, I don't have the legal expertise, but right from the beginning, I said there's an element of shock and surprise. Only the 2 points I would like to make. One is this, the shock from the Kochhars family angle and surprise from all of us, for all of us who have been the onlookers. Like, why now? What happened? Because the CBI has been into it since 2018. CBI filed the FIR in early 2019. Now, what suddenly happened in December 2022? Almost after 3 years, the agency needed to arrest them. So what are the new findings? Have there been new findings? What is there? So that's the key question that is haunting us, all of us. And for the record, I'm never saying that, I'm never passing any judgment that they are not guilty, not at all. But why now? Why it could have been done much earlier? Why should it take 3 years? And second part is this, the record in the history of our investigative agencies, this kind of actions in the past, in the recent past, so many bankers, both primarily in the public sector, from the public sector, they were arrested, they were sent to jail, they were kept in custody. But how many of them have actually been implicated? In how many cases our investigative agencies have been able to establish the banker's culpability? You check the record. In percentage term, it will be single digit, probably low single digit. I am talking about only these so-called scams in the banking sector. So put this together. So that's it. I mean, I don't know. I can't pass on any value judgment whether the bail will be permanent or whatever.
What is also surprising is that the bail is for 2 weeks and the next hearing is on 6th of Feb. Hemendra Hazare, how do you see all the developments today?
No, very clearly it shows the Central Bureau of Investigation in very poor light, that, very shoddy adherence to legal procedures, that the Honorable High Court had to pass such scathing comments. And this is a great pity because it really demeans the credibility of India's premier criminal investigation body. And here, in the court of public opinion, and as a banking analyst, once you have the digital and the money trail, which shows ICICI Bank giving funds to the Doots, the Videocon group, and there you see a money trail thereafter of it from a Videocon group company going into Deepak Kochhar's company. To me, of course, it raises a great deal of suspicions. And, in such a case, if the premier criminal investigative body cannot put together a proper case, which is so immediately practically thrown out by the Honorable High Court, it shows, I'm very disappointed at the competence of the Central Bureau of Investigation. And, it has such a poor track record, both this and the Enforcement Directorate of Convictions. So what is there for, for the capital markets that anyone, if they are guilty, you don't find it being convicted because the investigative agencies are so poor in their work, or even if they are innocent, they are arrested on such flimsy grounds. It's a very sad day, I think, for the capital markets when you see such things happening, and for the public at large.
Important point there, that if they are innocent, they shouldn't be dragged through such procedural hell. If they are guilty, they should be brought to book earlier. Where was the CBI for 3 to 4 years? Why have they suddenly come in? What are the grounds of non-cooperation? In fact, Mr. Sanjay Asher, the court went as far as to observe basic procedural lapses, like you needed a woman police officer's signature if you were going to arrest a woman. In this case, Chanda Kochhar. Even that was not done. What are the grounds of saying they are not cooperating? Did they, not come for summons when you called them? Where were you all of this time? How do you look at all of that as well as the 2 weeks of bail?
Well, I mean, the enforcement agency and the police officers ought to have followed the procedures and the technicalities at the time of arrest or before arrest when they went to Kochhar's house to arrest her, etc. So I don't know why they did not follow those procedural and the technicalities, and it is surely a lapse in the hands of the hands of the police officers. But
Sure.
if you note,
Right.
the court has noted that we may note that we have not gone into neither the submissions advanced by Mr. Desai, the learned counsel, appearing in particular the submission that a lady officer was not present at the time of the petitioner's arrest, in view of the findings recorded in the order.
Right. What about the 2-week bail, Mr. Asher? What do you make of that?
So,
2 weeks bail means
no,
they
to my
can
mind-
technically be arrested after 2 weeks again. And the next
No, to
hearing
my
is in
mind-
Feb.
To my mind, it's not a 2-week bail. It is the cash bail of 100,000 rupees each for both the Kochhars, and thereafter, within 2 weeks, they have to furnish the PR bond of an equal amount. So that 2 weeks, as I read it, if you read the order, small Roman 1 and small Roman 2, those have to be read together. And essentially it is that 100,000 rupees PR bond has to be completed in 2 weeks' time.
Okay. Okay. Tamal, big picture over here. This was a scandal, continues to be a scandal where, you know, the poster girl, the poster woman of corporate India fall from grace, etc., etc. Does this bail change anything perceptionally for the Kochhars? And the fact that all of this has been gone on for so long, it was business as usual till the CBI woke up again, isn't it?
Hey, Tamanna, there are two sides of it, whether Kochhars are innocent or they are guilty. That's one part. And second part is the efficiency of our investigative agencies, in particular, this case, CBI. So on the first part, I am not qualified to pass the judgment. I don't know who can. But in the second part, we are fairly sure that such thing is going to happen because inefficiency has been established. Former Finance Minister, Mr. Jaitley, also have spoken about it, their adventurism. So CBI has done it. In fact, just to give an example, one senior banker of IDBI, after retirement, he was picked up from his house to the CBI office in Mumbai, just for some questioning. And then in that office, when he was asked that, while leaving the house, in fact, he was asked that, would you like to carry your medicines, daily medicines? Even then, he did not get the hint. But after the office interrogation, he was said that you are under arrest and he was thrown into jail. He had to spend about 3 weeks and then he came out. What happened to that? Has CBI been able to establish the culpability? No. So the Kochhars getting the bail, I don't know whether it's if they are does it pronounce that they are not guilty. I'm not saying that. I don't know
not
that.
at all.
But definitely,
bail order is very clear.
it shows the inefficiency of our investigative agencies.
Right.
Once again, it establishes.
So it's very clear that there is no pronouncement of their guilt or their innocence. Either way, the question is the time our judicial system is taking. Hemendra Hazare, I want to come back to the point you made. If they're innocent, then a grave injustice has been done to them by, dragging their name through all of this for years and years. If they are guilty, then a grave injustice is done to the people of this country where they've gone scot-free for so long. Either way, it's making no sense. What should be holding the CBI back when, like you said, in a case like this, these are all digital transactions?
No, very correct. It shows the CBI is professionally incompetent. And they are India's premier criminal agency. To me, from the evidence that we know of, which is in the public domain, the board of ICICI Bank clearly passed its own verdict. First, they defended her. Then when the media started highlighting and you started getting new and new disclosures every day, they appointed the Shri Krishna Committee report. And apparently the Shri Krishna Committee report indicted her. And therefore, the board then sacked her. So the board of ICICI very clearly after that did not want anything to do with her. So therefore, to me, the evidence as an analyst, I'm quite clear that with such allegations, a person is not fit to be anywhere near in the higher echelons of a financial institution and definitely not a bank. And to me, the CBI should have acted extremely early. I think they filed this FIR, if I'm not mistaken, early 2019, that, it just takes them through, 3-4 years to arrest, and that too on such flimsy grounds. It appears that they solely arrested her just to disrupt the wedding. And therefore, probably the publicity, if they were not arrested, people have said, they're having this fancy wedding and the state is not doing anything. And therefore, they did not even adhere to some very basic procedures in arresting her. This, really, the public loses confidence in the professional competence of your premier criminal investigating bodies. And these are your premier, the country's premier investigating body. If this is the way they conduct themselves, one can imagine how they must be going about their business in other cases.
Questions raised by today's developments, but the last chapter has not been written yet on the whole Kochhars affair. In the middle of all of this, what's happening to Venugopal Dhoot is also a question that needs to be asked on, is it on similar grounds or not? Thank you so much to all of you for joining us today.
Thank you.